What's up, people? Today is going to be an exciting day because I've got some friends that want to brighten up their little girl's room, and I get a chance to be creative. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge because I don't want to be over here all day, and I've got from what I understand, like 3 different colors to paint. One wall is going to be like an accent wall, but it's going to be kind of interesting because it's going to be 2 different colors on the accent wall. I've got to somehow make a line diagonally from the top corner to the bottom corner, and the top half's going to be one color, the bottom half's going to be another. And I've got to use tape, and I'll show you guys a pretty cool trick on how to make that line nice and crisp. I used to do it a different way, but this way is way better, way easier, because you have everything you need. You just use the 2 different color paints you have, but I'll show you how to do that. All right, this is going to be our accent wall. I took all the plates off, pole sanded. You really don't want to skip this pole sanding part because you don't want any high spots on here when you put the tape on the wall, because that'll help the paint bleed under the tape, and we don't want that. Then you won't get that crisp line. So I've got this tool I've had for years, never really had a good chance to use it. It's like a laser, and I'm going to kind of set it up to where I can get a line that goes from this corner to that corner, hopefully. I can get it just right where it won't move. And turn the light off. Well, there's a hump in the wall, so no, I can see it. It's dark, but you get the point. So we're going to paint. I'm going to make some pencil marks. Make sure I paint down below this line. I want to do the top color first, so we're going to get the paint down below the line. And put one coat while that's drying. I'll paint the other color on the other 3 walls. Put another coat on this, and then put another coat on that. And then take the line, paint the bottom, and hopefully that'll be it. So all I have to do is cut in the top and then that side and roll. And it doesn't really matter which direction you roll as long as you don't leave lines in your paint. Sometimes I like to come back and finish it off just nice and even. Like that. Make sure I don't have any holidays. It's also a good idea, since I'm doing 3 colors, I have 3 different brushes, 3 different rollers, 3 different buckets. So that'll help the project go faster. I don't want to have to clean up my roller and brush 6 or 7 different times, because I'll be switching back and forth from this color to that color to the other color. So keep that in mind. I am kind of dry rolling it so it'll dry faster, because I know I'm going to have to put another coat on here more than likely. So, but I'm still trying to make it covered with the first coat if possible. Okay, now I'm going to look it over, make sure that it's covered good. Okay, now that we have this covered or painted, I'm going to put a fan on it, get another roller set up, and paint the other 3 walls. The next color is very pretty. I have to be careful right here because this is still wet, this corner. So I might just come away from it a little bit. I can always come back and touch that up. Nice and easy with these corners, take your time. It's not so easy when you got textured walls, but it's totally doable. Alright, so I like to do one wall at a time. I went back over it really lightly, just to make sure that it's all laid down and there's no runs. So on to the next wall. You're gonna get a lot of paint on this brush. You don't want to rake it all off, you know, like that. You just kind of get a little bit on there. Usually you can tap the sides, get enough, but kind of maybe rake it off a little bit one side. The ceiling, kind of tricky because you've got this kind of a heavy, medium heavy texture on the ceilings and on the walls. It's like a knockdown on the ceilings, and the walls are like a kind of a medium orange peel. But if you want to make this a little bit easier, you could caulk this, like just run a little small bead of caulk on there, and that'll help you get a straighter line. But the key is you kind of gotta go both directions on this. Cut it in that way and then cut it back in this way, and you can see it starting to fill in them those little holes, or little dimples, or whatever you want to call it. But you just got to take your time. Sometimes you just kind of shake your hand, just give it a little shake like that, and it kind of pushes the bristles up in there. But if you want to make your life a little bit easier, you can run just a small bead of caulk in that corner. It'll help you cut in nice straight lines. But I think I've done a pretty good job getting this cut in nice and pretty, so not bad. And the same with these. Just take your time when you're doing these colors together like that. Just take your time and try to make it as straight as possible. You can always come back with the other color, and you can always come back and do little touch-ups. Straighten your lines up a little bit, or fill in these little dimples. But I'm gonna finish this last wall. See, I've got everything else done. Got the top half done. I'm gonna finish this last wall, and then we're gonna get a nice straight line with the tape and try to finish this bedroom up. Luckily, this paint, I don't know, I'm kind of new at this YouTube thing. I don't know if I can really name brands and stuff like that, or talk about, you know, brands or whatever, but this stuff is amazing. It is covering in one coat. I've never had a paint this dark of a color, this pretty color like this, be able to cover something like this, new construction, in one coat. But it is definitely doing it. But you got to be careful and make sure you put a nice even coat on everything. I don't know how exactly this is going to work, but I'm going to try to use this laser like I did earlier, and then I'm going to turn up the lights, and I'm going to make a mark like every couple of feet, and then use a level and a pencil to try to actually draw a line with a pencil. You see, I've got the laser right at this corner, and you can kind of see it. So I'm going to make some marks with a pencil. And see, luckily I painted below this line, but I'm going to run the tape on the top edge, and then paint the lower portion. So I'm going to get a line drawn with a level. See, I've got a couple holes. I can just put some spackling in there, and then we'll touch that up. But let me get this line all the way to the corner. Okay, so we got that tape on now. As you can see, I drew the line. I put the tape just above the line because I'm going to be painting down here, and I wanted to cover that line up. I didn't want to, you don't want to see that line. Here's the interesting part though. You put this color on this edge right here. because what's going to happen is this paint will bleed under that tape and seal it off. If you don't do this, when I put the pink on, the pink will bleed under there, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not going to have a nice, clean, crisp line. So you want to just kind of brush just this edge of it with the same color that you've already used. And that's how you get a nice clean line. When I peel the tape off, it's going to be like a beautiful, perfectly straight line. Hopefully, if I can get enough paint on there. We gotta let that dry, and then I can go ahead and start cutting down there with the pink once I do this. But that's the trick to it. See, nice and clean. I'm gonna have to touch up a little. Sorry about the lighting. I put up a new light while I was waiting for paint to dry. But you can see I've got little tiny touch-ups like this. But if you look at that line, you see how nice and perfect. It's like it was cut with a laser or something. But anyway, that's how that's done. We got a little touching up to do. Fix this run right here. Little touch-ups to do, and then it's done. But check this out. Isn't that cool? Especially with the light. Light kind of gives it a nice shimmer. Really neat. Really, really neat. Awesome.